When did your teacher give everyone a free A+? Mrs. Lambert walked into class with tears streaming down her face and slammed her coffee mug on the desk so hard it broke. If one of you can find the woman my husband is cheating on me with, I will give you an A+ for the semester and you can stop doing work. Just please help me catch her so I can deliver justice. Someone in the back raised their hand slowly and asked if that was really all they had to do. Mrs. Lambert nodded and laid out 3 rules. 1. We couldn't get caught snooping around. 2. We couldn't break into anyone's homes. And 3. We could work in teams if we wanted. The bell rang right after, and my best friend Kenji grabbed my arm and pulled me into the hallway. He said, "I got a plan. This'll be easy money, trust me." Mrs. Lambert's husband was Coach Lambert, who taught gym and coached girls volleyball. Kenji figured he was probably sleeping with one of the volleyball players since he spent so much time with them after school. We decided to start our investigation that afternoon during volleyball practice. We snuck into the gym and hid behind the bleachers with a clear view of the court. Coach Lambert was running drills and yelling at the girls to hustle. He seemed normal at first, but then we noticed he kept touching the team captain's shoulder when explaining plays. The practice went on for an hour, and nothing suspicious happened. We were about to give up when Coach Lambert called the captain April into his office. She jogged over, bouncing her ponytail, and followed him inside. Through the window, we could see her tying her hair up in a bun while he made sure no one was looking, then turned off the lights and pulled down the blinds, blocking our view completely. Kenji and I looked at each other, knowing she was giving him the gawk gawk 3000. We quietly left the gym and started heading back to Mrs. Lambert's classroom to claim our A+. We were practically running down the hallway when we heard footsteps behind us. 2 kids from our class tackled us to the ground before we could react. They pinned us down while their teammate Jasmine sprinted ahead toward Mrs. Lambert's room. We struggled, but they were bigger and had caught us off guard. By the time we got free and made it to the classroom, Jasmine was already inside talking to the teacher. After Jasmine left looking smug, I went into the classroom alone. Mrs. Lambert was sitting at her desk crying harder than before. I told her what we'd seen with Coach Lambert and April in his office. She thanked me through her tears and said she'd suspected the volleyball team all along. But then I realized something off. I asked her, "Are you okay? Like actually okay?" Mrs. Lambert looked up at me with surprise. She actually smiled a little through her tears and said I was the first student to ask how she was feeling. I apologized for not asking sooner and told her that even though she was a tough teacher, she didn't deserve to be cheated on. She stood up and walked around her desk. "Do you still want that A+?" she asked. I said yeah, of course, because who wouldn't want a free grade? But then her expression changed to something I couldn't read. She explained that since I was the only student who showed concern for her well-being, she wanted to give me a special choice. I could take the A+ for myself, but she'd tell everyone I ruined the challenge for them. Or I could fail the class, but everyone else would automatically get an A+ for their efforts. My brain felt like it was short-circuiting. I asked her to repeat what she'd said because it made no sense. Then the pieces started clicking together in the worst way possible. I looked at her face and saw she wasn't devastated anymore. She was studying my reaction like I was a lab rat in one of her psychology experiments. "Wait, so your husband's not cheating on you?" She laughed and shook her head, explaining this was an annual experiment for the psychology class. Before I could respond, another girl burst through the door. "Mrs. Lambert, you need to see this," she said, holding out her phone. On the screen was a photo that made the teacher's face go white. It showed Coach Lambert in the cafeteria kissing Mrs. Harden, the lunch lady. He was making out with her on top of the serving counter. The timestamp showed it was taken 20 minutes ago during lunch prep. Mrs. Lambert grabbed the phone with shaking hands and stared at the photo. Her face went through about 10 different emotions before settling on rage. She looked at me and then at the girl who'd brought the photo. "This isn't part of the experiment. He's kissing my niece." Full story on channel linked below.